of the Kartik, we set a sankalpa, some great intention in our heart to make us purified. It could be anything, but hopefully it's something related to this increasing our devotional service, and especially chanting the holy name. What more can we ask for except to get a desire to increase our devotional spirit and increase our chanting. So I just want to say that I feel very happy to be here, and turn it over to the devotees who are here every day doing bhakti.
Oh no, you're speaking first. You're doing childhood pastime.
Gyanatimrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatrivascha Kripasindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Charisingarupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshavayati Namane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my heartfelt obeisance to my beloved Holy Master Nitya Vishnu Vishnu Pada Sot Sot Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also unto Nitya Vishnu Vishnu Pada Sot Sot Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Bharti Goswami Maharaj, Nitya Vishnu Vishnu Pada Sot Sot Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to my Param Gurudev, who Srila Gurudeva would always say, the grandfather is more merciful than the father, and Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesava Goswami Maharaj, whose divine disappearance day is today, on this beautiful Sarada Purnima, first day of Kartik, and unto all assembled devotees headed by our Radhashyam Prabhu, Srimati Sharmani Didi, and everybody, Manjri Didi, Hare Krishna, Dhavat Pranam. So, as Prabhu so beautifully is honing in on the point of how fortunate we are to be in this line, and today is our Param Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Kesava Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day. He disappeared on this first day of Kartik in Shri Devananda Gaudiya Math in Navadvip, while Gaura Arti was going on. They were chanting. He was chanting, Gurudev explained faintly, and then he sang Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And he left. And at that moment, the Pujari said something was so phenomenal that happened, that's never happened before, was that Radharani, at that same moment, Radharani's garland broke and fell. And he immediately took it and he ran in and gave it to Param Gurudev at that moment. So, Srila Param Gurudev's life is so perfect. There's no word. It's exalted, perfect. So many teachings, and Srila Gurudev wrote this. Gurudev would say that this biography of Bhaktivedanta Kesava Goswami Maharaj, he said, you must read this book. He said, Guru Nishta is the backbone of Bhakti, and if you want Guru Nishta, then read this book.
Learn what it is.
And so in the beginning, when he speaks about his childhood, he says, coming events are cast. Oh, it's so poetic. What is it? Coming events cast their shadows before them. Coming events cast their shadows before them. So when Param Gurudev was a little boy, a little baby, his mother was visiting her own father. They were in the village. And in India, they're very much big on oil massages, starting from birth, from young age. and she oiled his, massaged the baby, then put him in the sun. And then the most astounding thing happened was that an eagle came and picked the baby up and flew away. And so all the villagers, it kind of reminds me of like Kalia, and all the Brajvasis are, Mother Yashoda, she's just unconfident, can't imagine what's happening. So all the Brajvasis, all the villagers were panicking, and Paramagurudeva's mother, she was in tears, fell unconscious, and then the eagle just put the baby down, baby Paramagurudeva, on a bark leaf in a lake. And so then everyone knew that this is not ordinary, and this is going to be an exalted soul. So as Srila Paramagurudeva, did Saraswati see you laying in the park with his head on the another fast time came to me. So Paramagurudeva had a club with his friends when he was a teenager, and every day they would choose to help someone. So one day he didn't come home. He was very late, and his mother was so mad. She was actually furious at the door waiting for him, and she had a cane, like she was going to hit him. And when he came back, she was, yelling, where were you? Why are you so late? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But today, me and my friends, we have this club, and today there was a woman with cholera, and she had little children, and she didn't have any money for health care, to take care of herself. So we collected and we got her the care she needed, and so that made me late. And then his mom dropped the stick, and she said, started crying, saying, I'll never chastise you again. Right? So compassionate, overflooding of compassion. And I don't know when, my mind just went, I don't know when the order, but when he was a brahmachari and they would go out and collect, actually the Saraswati Thakur would send them out for bhiksha, and then he would only take 1 rupee from everyone he met. And it was really, even in the hot sun, like the hot days of India, and one day he was resting in a park, and he had this donation box as his pillow, and Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada happened to be going by and saw him, and he was overwhelmed with tears, what my disciples will do for me. Speaking of what my disciples will do for me, as we know, this famous pastime when Navadvip Dham Parikama was going on, and at that time, who were they?
The caste Brahmins
right.
of Navadvip. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
The Navadvip part?
Yeah. They did not
Conspired to kill him.
Yeah.
Because
He's
he's
preaching
against casteism.
very strongly. So on Parikama, they started throwing glass bottles and abusing very heavy things. And Paramagurudeva and Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada actually look alike. And so Paramagurudeva took him into a house and said, quickly, let's change clothes. And so he put on his saffron, or took his sannyas vesh and gave Saraswati Thakur his clothes, and then some other devotees secretly escorted him out, and Paramagurudeva came out and got away. And Srila Gurudeva always say he took his life in his hands. He put it right. Is that what Gurudeva say? He took his life in his hands for his own guru, and that is Guru Nishta, where we put our own life forward for our guru. And then Saraswati Thakur was so happy, actually, about that incident. It got so much publicity. He said, look at all this free publicity the Gaudiya Math got by being on the front page of the newspaper. And we can never get this kind of publicity if we know how much we pay.
Right, they were saying, why don't you press charges?
Press charges.
Court, and
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good result for us.
Yes. And Srila Param Gurudev would say that the more court cases going on for the Gaudiya Math, the more the preaching is going on. And so there was a time when he was he was going to court against his own brother, who went against the teachings of Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and they were not making, but specifically Param Gurudev was saying they're not upkeeping what Gaudiya Math is supposed to do. They're not making any sannyasis. They're not going on Nagar Sankirtan. And yeah, isn't that Nagar Sankirtan? Same thing? Yeah. Oh, I see. I feel like there's one more thing. And they took off saffron, yes. So Srila Bharati Maharaj was actually taking notes. He was the scribe for Param Gurudev. And he would go to the court and he would submit everything. And the day of the trial, the day of the case, Odalami Maharaj and his party, they showed up in saffron, doing Nagar Sankirtan, and with new sannyasis that they just gave that morning. And so then the court says, oh, what's the problem? They're doing what you asked. And Param Gurudev said yes. And he was very happy, actually, in his mind and heart. We won, they're doing. But then Srila Bharati Maharaj asked Param Gurudev, he said, but we did all this work, aren't you? Like, we didn't win, we lost. And then Param Gurudev said, no, we won.
What we really wanted was the outcome that they should change and follow properly.
Yeah. So I just wanted to read this, one of my favorite, when he gives a hint of his personal identity. And this is, and I wanted to read one thing actually. Well, before I will end with that. I'll just read one, letter. I didn't see any in the shop. We used to have. But there's this beautiful book, Kirti Ratna. Oh man. Sorry, I had it open. It's a book of his letters. Who gave it? Saraswati Thakur must have given the name Kirti Ratna, the best of jewel. What's Kirti mean? Ratna means jewel.
Like activities, like he was the most expert manager.
He's sitting under the tree as a brahmachari and everybody was offering pranams to him, remember? She was Maharaj.
That's a nice story to tell. Why he's Kirti Ratna. Jewel amongst performers of activities.
When he was very young, I don't know the exact details, we have to look it up, but he was still Vinod. They called him Vinod Da. Da means brother, right? And he was so affectionate to all, and he like everyone went to him for advice, and so one time in Navadweep, there's still the tree there. We would always go and offer pranams in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. When he was a brahmachari, and he was sitting, then all sannyasis coming, and he would sit with his legs, with his feet up, right on a table, and all sannyasis would come and offer pranam to him. And then one time, I think it was Srila Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj was curious, like, wow, why all these sannyasis offering pranam? Pardon? First day he came to the mat? Wow. He's in white cloth. He's very young. So everyone would come all the sannyasis would come pay pranam to him, ask him questions, and he was wondering, who is this boy that everyone is giving so much respect to and admiration to? And actually, when he was young, both aunts, are disciples of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And when they brought Param Gurudev, they brought him, and also when he was young, and Bhaktisiddhanta was saying Saraswati Thakur was saying all the things that he wanted to accomplish, all the temples that he needed to build.
He had nothing at that time.
No money, no manpower. And they said, the aunties were saying, how is this going to happen? How will you do this? And then Saraswati Thakur says, we know Da will do all. We know Da will do it. So just read a little bit of his letter showing his sweetness and his compassion. Okay. It's okay. For a servant of Hari, trials and tribulations are a source of auspiciousness. He wrote this in Devananda Gaudiya Math in 1963. My dear blank, I was very distressed by your letter dated June 7th, 1963. There's a grave lack of people to take care of the mat these days. Everyone wants comfort. If they can eat lying down in their beds, then getting up and sitting to eat seems troublesome. And if someone chews their food for them, it's less work for their teeth. It seems the number of angry, combative people is greater nowadays. Because of their anger issues, they cannot stay with their parents or with their wives and children. Lust and anger have captured them all. What are you going to be able to do? And what can I do? If they could function in the world, would they have come to the mat? This is the main reason why so many come. The Pi Pu Phai show party is rather large. It is because of you that I established the mat in Assam. Now that you want to leave and come here, it is quite discouraging. Personally, I think you should stay there as long as you are alive. I still have the money in hand that you want to spend on land in Navadvip. I want to send the money back to you. The goal of life is to serve Hari. For a servant of Hari, trials and tribulations are the source of auspiciousness. Why would a servant want to be rid of such blessings? So-and-so was a very good boy. I was sorry he could not stay. Please tell Maharaj to look for him and bring him back. And then he's giving, keep so-and-so. He is hardworking, has a simple, good-hearted nature. Be sure that nobody mistreats him in any way. I'm going to Chanchura for Rath Yatra the day after tomorrow. I cannot seem to find out where some other Maharaj went. It has been about 10 or 12 days. I conclude here. Your eternal well-wisher. It was just so sweet how he's looking after everyone concerned, where they are. If they're not, if they're not there, bring them back, find them, bring them back. What are they doing? Like every single detail. Okay. And then the final thing I'll close with is a hint of his eternal identity. So, at Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math, that's Parama Gurudev's temple in Navadvip, fresh construction work was in progress on the grand temple, replete with 9 domes. In the altar room, a platform was being prepared for the deities. Paramaradya, Srila Gurudev came into the temple room to decide on the shape of the altar and the number and color of its steps. Sripad Bhaktivedanta Muni Maharaj and I, the author, were with him. Srila Gurudev surveyed the area, decided on the length, width, and height of the altar, and then became immersed in thought. After a while, he turned to us and said, there will be 3 steps below the altar. The highest step will be blue, the second step yellow, and the bottom step will be Aruna Varna, the reddish pink at dawn. Sripad Muni Maharaj asked, why should it be so? Srila Gurudev replied, the highest step will symbolize the sapphire-like luster of Brajenjanandan Sri Krishna. The second step will represent the golden radiance of Srimati Radhika, the crest jewel of Krishna's sweethearts. Then he remained silent for a few moments. Assuming an extremely grave countenance, he continued, the third step will be the color of a Saki, referring to a Manjri, who brings all kinds of delight, Vinod, to Yugal Kishore, the divine youthful couple. She is depicted by Aruna Varna. As he was speaking, his voice faltered, his throat choked, and he became completely motionless. Seeing his extraordinary bhav, we were both struck with wonder. At that time, we could not understand anything, nor could we muster up the courage to ask him. But after he entered Aprakat Leela, the unmanifest pastimes, we realized the meaning of that hint. The lowest step symbolized Shri Vinod Manjari, Shri Yugal Kishore's eternally playful maidservant. Srila Gurudev had given a hint of his own Siddhadeha, his eternal spiritual form, in a very hidden way. It was around that time that I inquired from him in private, "Did your Gurudev reveal the identity of the Siddhadeha of any of his disciples?" Solemnly, Srila Gurudev replied, "He has certainly done so. Srila Prabhupada has given the identity of the Siddhadeha and instructions in the method of Bhajan Pranali, to some of his qualified disciples. Otherwise, the Sri Rupanuga line would come to an end. He also mercifully gave this Pranali to me. I asked again, will you bestow your mercy and reveal the name of your Siddhadeha?" Srila Gurudev replied, "Not just now. At the appropriate time, it will be disclosed." So.
And at that time, I just remembered as you were reading that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was not giving Guru Mantra at initiation time, and it was because of Param Gurudev. There's a nice remembrance, must be in here, with details, I don't know, but anyway, where he requested, and due to the compelling nature of his service and the way he entreated Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and requested him to please give the Guru Mantra, that he began giving Guru Mantra. So our entire Gaudiya Saraswat line is something that I read this morning from Srila Gurudev, that if you glorify the Param Gurudev of an Acharya, you'll automatically be glorifying the Gurudev. So if we glorify Param Gurudev, it'll automatically be glorifying our Gurudev. And it's impossible to glorify Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur without glorifying Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, or likewise Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So they're so inseparable, and glorifying Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati will naturally, you know, and actually that's the way to glorify them, is by glorifying their pure sevaks, their servants. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have our Guru Mantras and all our Gayatris.
No. And we're so fortunate to have Gurudev guide Shamrani Didi in painting Vinod Manjari.
On the far left.
On the far
yeah.
left.
Yeah.
That's very special. So,
Jai.
Jai.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was pretty sweet.
Just praying for Param Gurudev and our entire Guru Varga's mercy, especially him. He's most merciful. Most merciful every day, but I say especially on appearance and disappearance days. We can make special requests. Putting in a special request for just an inkling drop of Guru Nishta. I can serve with a sincere heart for the rest of my life, and always.
So Devi, did you want to share any pastime or glories?
Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When I think of the pastimes of Param Gurudeva, always, I don't know though what you said before, unfortunately I was a bit late, but I don't know if you said it already, but how he, any instruction which he got from his Gurudev, he never thought like, that's going to be impossible, or that, like, even we heard from Gurudev how after the Harikatha from Srila Prabhupada was finished, how he was just so much immersed in this Harikatha and thinking, how can I follow that? How can I put that in practice? What Srila Prabhupada was just saying in Harikatha, that he was so much absorbed that he didn't even notice how other Vaishnavas would come and pay his obeisances to him. So yeah, and we can see in his life how, like for example, Srila Prabhupada told him to establish the one of the pastimes places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and but this place was a Muslim graveyard, and so I mean, for any ordinary person would have probably just thought, wow, that's impossible. Like, but this place has been previously a pastime place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, was it the birthplace? Okay. So, Param Gurudev, he started to grow many large trees in the mud, and some devotees were thinking, why is he, what are all these big trees doing here? So, and one night he went with some devotees and trees crossed the Ganga, and in one night they dug out all the graves, threw them in the Ganga, and they planted this big, large, full-grown trees. And when the Muslims came next day to the previous graveyard, they were like, what happened here? This is our place. What are you doing? And Param Gurudev and the devotees replied like, no, this place is here since long time. And even so that the police was called, and the police went just like, we don't see any problem here. These trees are full-grown trees. This place exists since a long time. We don't know what you're saying. So that's how, there was nothing impossible for someone with Guru Nishta. And Gurudev used to say that also, when there's Guru Nishta, then what is impossible? With Guru's mercy, nothing is impossible. So Gurudev, Shri Param Gurudev, he was the embodiment of Guru, or he is the embodiment of Guru Nishta. Even so that we hear that in this material world, the greatest love is from the mother, but Guru's love is 10,000 more than even of a mother. And when Param Gurudev's mother was leaving the body, she was calling for him, but and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, yeah, you should go see your mother, but Param Gurudev, he was hiding under someone's bed in the mud. And then Srila Prabhupada asked one devotee, oh, did he go? Like, he said, and then the devotee said, no, he didn't go. Oh, call him. Oh, why didn't you go? And Param Gurudev was saying, because when my mother she's in the deathbed, and she will take my hand and ask me to, for her last wish, to take care of her land and of everything there, of all the responsibilities, then how can I say no? Then I'm going to lose my life. And this life is very special because I have come to your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. So I don't want to lose the service to you. I don't want to lose this. So in that way, again, we can see how strong his faith was in his Gurudev and his Guru Seva. And yeah, there's so many pastimes where people like misunderstood him, when he wasn't externally following the, like for example, he used to pay for the boatsmen so much money to cross the river, and usually we know we're not supposed to waste any of Guru's money, right, of the temple's money. So often he was criticized, but everything he did was just for Guru Seva, so he can be faster there, can do more Guru Seva, and different reasons. So
right, they went to complain to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
He's giving extra money to the rickshaw and the boat, and
yeah,
he rides around on the horse.
yeah.
And what did Prabhupada say?
I think he said, Was it that he
said
comes
that.
from a very good family and
For him, it's normal.
yeah,
But also, what you said, whatever he's doing is for
for
the
gurus.
successful build. They were building the temple, right?
Yeah,
So then all of those boatwallas and the rickshawwallas, and they would anything he asked, and bringing the materials for the construction, like whatever he needed for seva, they would do like this because they knew he was always paying really well. So like that, the seva went on very smoothly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And also then I was thinking also when you said about how Prabhupada saw him under the tree in the heat, and how he was crying in the car and saying he's coming from a very high class family. Like he wouldn't need to do that, collecting 1 rupee from each person. But his heart melted, seeing like he has given up everything for my service. So yeah, we're coming in a very high lineage. And now I just, I really like pay my pranam today and pray for strength and faith. Yeah. Jai Shri Param Gurudev ki jai.
Thank you, Sudevi. That was so sweet. I wanted to hear all those pastimes. Where's Krishnamaya? He's not here? No? Oh, don't put that right there. That's so
It's no one watching.
obtrusive.
It's just an empty camera.
Hare Krishna. So, few minutes left here before we have our noon offering and whatnot. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhika Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Namine Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaeva cha Patitalam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So first I offer my heartfelt Dandavat Pranam in the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, my life and soul, and the same heartfelt Shraddha Pushpanjali in the lotus feet of my beloved spiritual grandfather, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same heartfelt Shraddha Pushpanjali, the lotus feet of my beloved Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. His glories are endless. He's a transcendental personality, so it's not possible for a conditioned soul struggling so much in this life, like myself, to touch his glories. But by the mercy of Srila Gurudev, and especially Srimati Shamarani Didi, who asked us to speak some of his glories this morning, I've gotten this chance for a few minutes to purify myself by meditating on his transcendental character, personality, divine glories, contributions, and it's so wonderful hearing from all of you, Radhe Shyam Prabhu, explaining how he started us out with the introduction of how rare it is to find any kind of genuine person at all in this world, what to speak of a genuine guru who's bona fide in a proper lineage, sampradaya, and who has a good character and conduct and isn't secretly embezzling money and cheating in so many ways, nonsense. So to find a genuine guru is incredibly rare from any whatever lineage, so rare. So then coming in the Gaudiya lineage, connected with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as he said, we're here in front of Radharaman Bihari Shri Krishna, Radha and Krishna and Braj, that's even more rare. And Basanti was speaking so sweetly about his childhood pastimes and his incredible characteristics, and everyone's touching on he had so many wonderful qualities, and Srila Gurudev would always say, as we've been hearing, his best quality was his unparalleled guru nishta, and how this is the backbone of bhakti. So some of his qualities that we've been hearing, his generosity, his compassion, how deeply he would feel the suffering of others on every level, but because he's on the transcendental level, feeling it most deeply, the suffering of others and how to uplift them, how to help them. Other qualities, like Srila Gurudev used to often say about his qualities of his personality, he used to like to say how all of the sannyas disciples of Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he said, we are all Bhakti Vedanta. And we have some bond, some similar qualities between us who have this Bhakti Vedanta title coming from who? Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And what is our similar qualities? And he used to do this as a way of also glorifying our Srila Prabhupada. That for one thing, they didn't go to the top 1% of society for preaching and prachar, like trying to persuade or convert or influence the top cream of society. They went to the common man in the street, to the common people. So our Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has this quality, our Param Gurudev had this quality, and our Gurudev has this quality. That doesn't mean the cream of society also were attracted, but they weren't focused their preaching on that. Their focus of preaching was as wide as possible into the most common understanding of society. And another quality he said was Param Gurudev. I always loved hearing this quality of Param Gurudev, that he was so learned, like an encyclopedia, but he had this one quality that he could use common sense to explain the philosophy and the teachings without quoting one shloka. Without quoting one shloka, he could, with common sense, completely change somebody's mind. Even a great pundit, without quoting a single verse, he could totally defeat them in whatever point they were making, and he could bring anyone's thinking around to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just through common sense and normal language. So I love that quality. And at the same time, other times he could be like an endless current flow of evidence and shastra shlokas from the shastras. And so many other, what's other qualities? Preserving the mission after the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. The parikramas had virtually stopped. There were daily newspapers and weekly and monthly periodicals being published, and almost everything was stopped because of the various conflicts after the disappearance of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So it was our Param Gurudev who very strongly, at first, very strongly revived the Navadvip Dham Parikrama and Brajmandal Parikrama and the publishing of various periodicals. And but out of all his qualities, so many qualities, the topmost one, best one, as we've heard, is the quality of Guru Nishtha, that is unshakable, firm faith, transcendental faith in one's Guru Pada Padma, worshipable, beloved Sri Gurudev. So what are some signs and symptoms of having Guru Nishtha? We've heard some. One is that disciple, whatever love and affection they have in this world for relatives, society, friendship and love, and even one's own conceptions and body and mind, but all that love and affection is completely withdrawn from all those material places and completely surrendered and offered at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And that's one quality. Another symptom of Guru Nishtha is that disciple is ready to take their life in their hand for the sake of serving Sri Guru. And we heard famous pastime in Paramatala, Navadvip Dham Parikrama, how Param Gurudev demonstrated that. And another quality symptom of having Guru Nishtha is that disciple will honor even a dog who has connection with their Gurudev. So they know how to give proper respect and honor to all living beings according to their position, properly, and especially to all Vaishnavas, and most especially to anyone who has any connection with their Gurudev, whether it's a god brother or spiritual grand uncle or spiritual grand cousin, or however on the Chaitanya tree relationship, and especially the disciples of one's guru, one's god brothers and god sisters properly. What to speak of that? Even a dog, Gurudev said, who had some connection with my Gurudev, I'll honor properly. So this is a really important, and cooperating with the god brothers and god sisters for fulfilling the life's purpose and mission of one's guru. In Badger one year, remember when Gurudev said at the end of a class, he said, if a disciple doesn't take responsibility for the mission of their Gurudev, they're not a disciple. It was so heavy. I was like, wow, okay, let's go. Let's do it. So that's another characteristic or symptom of having Guru Nishta is that disciple understands what Sri Guru wants, his purpose for being in this world, his mission. So that's called mano bhishta. Bhishta is a heartfelt, cherished objective, and mano is the heart and mind, like the purpose. So that's why we say Sri Chaitanya mano bhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale for Srila Rupa Goswami, that he understood the mano bhishta, the heart's, the innermost heart's desire, and such a disciple understands that. Without being told even. It's a heart knowing. So a comparison in this world might be a mother for a baby. Maybe not every mother is like this, but many times a mother will understand the crying of the baby if the baby's tired or hungry or needs changing. And everyone else will just hear it's a baby crying. They don't know what kind of cry. But because of the love and affection and the intimate, so much service and sacrifice is there, so the mother will know. But I tell this example, and then one person said, I never had that experience. I've had 9 kids and I never felt that way. So I've always heard that, but I never had that experience. So it's a material example. It can never be perfect. But anyhow, there is no comparison for these transcendental devotional moods of surrender. So the disciple knows the heart's desire of the guru. And how will we understand the heart, the manobishta of Sri Guru? Through serving them. Once we were walking with Srila Gurudev to his room in Govardhan. Across there's like a little bridge between the building where his bhajan kutir is and the main temple in Govardhan. So we're walking over the bridge and all the people are there, and one devotee went to touch his feet right before he entered the door, and Gurudev just stopped and then was waiting, and she took a while, and it was very heartfelt and sweet, and I was feeling touched. I was like, oh, that's so touching. And then he waited, and he was looking at her and looking, and she was taking a long time. Finally, she got up, and he said, you should try to touch my heart. So that's another symptom of having Guru Nishta, as we heard all of these pastimes we've been hearing are demonstrations of someone who has this love and affection, and is serving in such an intimate way, Vishrambhena, Guru Seva, in such a way that melts the heart of Sri Guru. And Sri Guru becomes worried about that devotee's health and maintenance, and your cloth is torn, I'm getting a new cloth for the disciple, or like how they're managing, where are you staying, how much are you paying for your rent, like really concerned and looking after that disciple. So I was thinking that just like we sing it every morning in the Prabhupada Padmastavaka, so just like Krishna's called Yashoda Nandan. Why? Why is Krishna so loving and filled with so many beautiful qualities? Because he's the son of Mother Yashoda. You have to have a good mother to be a good boy, isn't it? So the mother is so loving and so nurturing, and there's so much love in the family. Then the children know how to properly communicate, and they're very well adjusted, and they know how to love and honor and respect their elders, and right? They have such a good character. So he's Yashoda Nandan. And the same way, you can know the disciple by the guru by the disciple. So our Param Gurudev has all these qualities, is overflowing with so much love and affection because he's been nourished and brought up, raised by the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who likewise is the embodiment of the love and affection of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the whole parampara, of course, and likewise on down the chain. And so Sri Guru is like the prema patra, or the recipient of this unprecedented, unique, transcendental love and affection from the pure devotee and from all our parampara. And that's how they're able to then emulate and model that and then love us in the same way. Just like in a material family, you get the recipe from your mother's, great-great-grandmother's recipe for whatever, apple strudel or whatever it is. But it's only in your family it tastes like that, and it's like cherished and passed down. So everything we have, our kirtans, our how we're practicing bhakti, for us especially, so much is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we only have that through Saraswati Thakur, and a lot of that we only have because of Param Gurudev. Would have been lost, even the method of Archan. Karta Didi, who is a very senior disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in ISKCON, I remember she told me that in the early days, the first Archan book we had, and Gaurangi has a copy of it, one of the original Archana Deepikas, and there was an introduction that they had in there that the devotees in ISKCON were first using to learn from. It was from Param Gurudev. It was because Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada had requested him to compile this Archan Deepika for use in the Gaudiya Math, and then that was what was translated and given. So we heard from the Guru Gayatris, which we wouldn't have if it wasn't for him. We wouldn't have any of how he was responsible for building and managing so much, and how the parikramas, the kirtans, the archan. Wanted to say important about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So why is it that because he was so near and dear and ready to give his life, and how the quality of his service and understanding the heart of his guru, the guru reciprocated likewise and gave his full heart and full mercy to Param Gurudev and told him many confidential things. So he told him, for example, how he witnessed Bhaktivinoda Thakur doing bhajan. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada told our Param Gurudev many things that he witnessed in his childhood growing up with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. For example, he told he told an example how once he got up in the middle of the night and he heard some noises in the kitchen. He went and looked to see, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur there was with a chadar over his head like this, and making puris and kheer and sweets, and in total ecstasy, like completely doing his bhajan. He used to see how he would do bhajan, chanting Shikshastakam as we were reading Bhajan Rahasya in the women's retreat in Oregon. So many special jewels were given from the heart of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to all of his disciples, but we are appreciating the unique jewels that were given to the heart of Sri Binod Bihari Brahmachari, who became our Sri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And of course, time is short. I'm wandering all over the universe without a train of thought here, just going from one flow to another. I had an idea of what I would say, but this is just going in another flow. What was next? What was I saying? The special jewels. Right, and of course, he gave sannyas to our beloved Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami. And as Gurudev would always say, it wasn't an accident or a formality or meaningless. They had a deep, transcendental relationship in the spiritual world, and also a long history of doing service together for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and they had some similar mood, especially this fighting of Mayavad. Like in Srila Prabhupada's Purnam mantra, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prachari, Nirvishesha Shunyavad Paschata Desha Tarine. So vanquishing, destroying all of these Buddhism, nihilism, any kind of impersonalism and Mayavad especially in the Western countries, but all over the world. So this is like something very similar that they had in common, this feisty, fierce, never losing an opportunity to counteract Mayavad impersonalist conceptions. So many things to say, no time and no qualification, but I really wanted to touch on and end with one of the most important contributions, aside from his many publications in Hindi. So knowing the heart of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, for example, to have the Mat in Mathura, why to have a center in, that's the heartland of India in the north, to translate all our important granthas, shastras, into the Hindi language, which is the national language of India and the main language of North India, because as of yet, at that time, the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya had not really affected or reached a lot of the northern population. So he fulfilled that desire. He fulfilled the desire of establishing Sri Chaitanya. It's not the birthplace, I'm sorry, my mistake, but you were right, it's at the Sri Chaitanya, but it's nearby. It's all in Antardweep, yeah, with the graveyard and all that. And many, many things, but establishing that temple and especially doing what? Gauravani Pracharane, the same like our Srila Prabhupada, establishing what is Gaur Tattva, the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 1954 was it? He established the Mathura Mat, and then by 1956, Karti Govardhan Puja, they installed the Thakurji, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari. And at that time, no one had ever seen, because as you know, in India, the tradition is Krishna deities are always from the black marble, carved in very beautiful, and every Gaudiya Mat also is all black marble Krishna that is installed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So until that time, no one had ever seen a white marble or golden colored Krishna. And so some people were kind of gossiping or criticizing, or I don't know, they were asking like, well, why are they using white marble? Did they not have enough money? It's too expensive to get the nicer, like the black marble, like. And so they were requesting him to explain. So he wrote this beautiful Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvastakam, which is actually explaining Gaura Tattva and explaining how Krishna gets a fair complexion. And my songbook got merged this morning at the beach, so I'll have to, somebody has my songbook, but we can take any songbook here and we can end with reading this. Shamrani Didi wanted us to talk about many of the kirtans that he wrote. There's no time now. She will speak on those tonight, but he gave so many beautiful kirtans, especially our Mangalarti kirtan, and but we'll just read this one now. Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvastakam. What page? 272. Why Sri Krishna acquired a bright complexion. So let's sing it. I'll play the part. Prabhu, you can play. Radha Chinta, all together. Radha Chinta, page 272. Radha Chinta Niveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingita Vigraham Sevya Seva Kasambhoge Dvayor Bheda Kuto Bhavet Vipralamhe tu sarvasya Bheda sada vivadhate Chililam netunam tattvam Bheda beda machintyakam Shakti shakti matoraikam Yuga padvatate sada Ekam parang vidyalilaya tadvidastitam Gaura Krishna swayang hetad ubhavubhayama Sarve varna yatra vishta Gaura kantir vikashate Sarve varne nahinastu
Krishna Varna Prakashate Sagunam Nirgunam Tattvam Ekameva Dvitiyakam Sarvalitya Gunair Gora Krishna Rasastu Nirgunai Shri Krishnam Netunam Brahma Tyaktva tu nirgunam hitat upasate mrisha bhigya yata tu shavaghatina Shri Vinoda Bihariyo Radhaya Milito Yada Tadaham Vandanam Kuryam Saraswati Prasadata Iti Tatvashtakam Nityam Yapatat Shradhayan Vita Krishna Tattvam Nabhigyaya Gaura Pade Bhavenmati Radha Chinta Niveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingita Vigraham Jai Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. So the beautiful line in here. We'll read the English, yeah? And then end it. Okay. So beautiful line in here. He says this is Saraswati Prasad. This Radha Vinod Bihari Tattva is Mahaprasad from Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's heart. And one pastime that I wanted to tell that I forgot, which is about, again, having Guru Nishta, another symptom, is that deep love through, especially serving Sri Guru in separation, develops an unprecedented kind of deep Vishrambhena, loving attachment to Sri Guru. So when they would go to Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir in Navadvip on Parikrama, Param Gurudev, they would sing this kirtan, Pranamami Sada Prabhupadam, and then Param Gurudev would stand, he would start to speak the glories, and he would just say, he couldn't say Prabhupada, he would start crying and weeping, and then he would motion over to our Gurudev and Srila Vaman Goswami and Sri Kamaraj, you speak the glories of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So that, that becoming stunned, overwhelmed with separation mood, and not even able to say the name of Srila Prabhupada, so much deep love and attachment. So I just wanted to share that incident. Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvashtakam. We could take turns and pass this around. I worship the lotus feet of that form of Sri Krishna who, by being absorbed in anxious thought of Srimati Radharani, has assumed her golden feature. And a deeper reading. Sri Krishna's immersion in separation from Srimati Radhika, who is in man, jealous anger, intensifies to such a point that he assumes her golden complexion. Alternately, Radha Lingita means he finally embraces Srimati Radhika after her man is broken. And all of this is in this pastime of Sharadiya Ras Leela, of Radha and Krishna, which they performed on this full moon night.
When the supreme object of loving service and the supreme loving servant merge in absolute love, how can any distinction be made between them? But when they are separated, all of their distinctions are continuously amplified. Wow. Shri Krishna is Sevya, the supreme object of service, and Bhokta, the supreme transcendental enjoyer. And Srimati Radhika is Sevaka, the supreme servant, and Bhogya, the supreme transcendental object of his enjoyment. In Sambhog, transcendental union, they are abheda, non-different. However, in Vipralambha, transcendental separation, their bhed or duality, and the form of unique qualities is amplified more and more.
Which is Gaur Ras. That Viprama Ras is Gaur Tattva Gaur Ras.
The divine couple who eternally engage in transcendental pastimes comprise an existential reality that is inconceivably differentiated and non-differentiated. For the supreme potency and the supreme possessor of potency are always one with each other. Paratattva, the supreme existential reality, is never without his energy, Shakti. When Shakti, potency, and Shaktiman, the supreme source of all potency, have a single form, then Gaur Tattva, the reality of Sri Gaur Chandra, is manifest. And when they are in two separate bodies, Leela Purushottama Sri Krishna enjoys unlimited transcendental pastimes with Srimati Radhika.
One should know that the absolute trust wish is one without a second, as David is pastimes and true past. Gora is Krishna and Krishna is Gora, and the birth of the factory, the original form of Godhead.
Wherever all colors exist simultaneously, a golden hue is manifest. However, in the absence of all color, a black hue is manifest. According to natural science, when the entire visible light spectrum is present in naturally occurring proportions, as in the sun, a golden hue is manifest. In Sanskrit, this is called Gora. Gorakanti. I can't see too well. On the other hand, when all visible light is absent, a black hue is manifest. This is called Sham Gora Kanti.
The Supreme Absolute Truth, which is one without a second, is both replete with qualities and devoid of qualities. All transcendental qualities are eternally manifest in Sri Gaur, and the totality of transcendental humors, completely devoid of any mundane qualities, is manifest in Sri Krishna. The word Varna, complexion, in the previous verse, and the word Guna, quality, in this verse, establishes Sri Gauda Tattva to be as worshipful as Krishna Tattva. The Supreme Absolute Truth is both Saguna, or possessed of all transcendental qualities, and Nirguna, or devoid of all material qualities.
Those who give up this twofold form of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Absolute, and worship the undifferentiated, all-pervading impersonal existence are intelligently looking for rice in empty husks. Although someone may be learned in all scriptures, his endeavors to obtain mukti, impersonal liberation, by worshipping the impersonal Brahma will only amount to fruitless labor. In other words, such a person is not intelligent at all.
By the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, I worship Sri Vinod Bihari and Srimati Radhika as they meet with one another. By the mercy of Sri Guru, I am granted darshan, a transcendental vision of the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Vinod Bihari, at the time of their transcendental meeting.
Whoever recites this Ashtakam every day with great faith will fully comprehend Krishna Tattva and become immersed in meditation on the lotus feet of Sri Gaudasundara.
It's perfect amount of verses. So we can conclude the morning program here, and I'm just offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev and my beloved Param Gurudev, and pray for his causeless mercy on this day, and especially the wonderful Hari Katha that he manifested to Srila Gurudev, like we were hearing, that because of the surrendered mood of the disciple, the Guru will give more. So Param Gurudev gave such sweet Harikatha of this Damodarastakam Leela, Gopi Gita, Venu Gita, all these wonderful pastimes which he told, and especially the glories of Srimati Radhika, which Srila Gurudev deeply imbibed in his heart and has manifested for the whole world. So praying for their causeless mercy, may their Harikatha manifest in our hearts, and may our Kartik Vrat be successful, following in their footsteps. Gaur Premanande Harivo, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Hari, only Thai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Hari Bol. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Tadiya Tirobhav Mahamahotsav Tithi ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Bhakti Jagat Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. So, just in time. They didn't do the offering yet, did they?